Give me a second and we'll get started. So we're live here on Instagram. We're live on Facebook. We're live on Twitch. We're live on YouTube. We're live on Twitter / Periscope, multiple pages, multiple groups on Facebook. So the amazing StreamYard software allows me to go live on all these platforms at once. All of these everything that I mentioned other than Instagram. So Instagram, I have to go live on my phone. So I've got my phone literally right beside my camera. So I'm going to be looking directly into the camera for the most part, because that's where the majority of my watchers are probably going to be. But I do want to keep and be present on Instagram. So I will say for all of my friends there on Instagram, come on over to, my preference would be YouTube. So if you go to youtube.com/Shane Trammell, ShaneTrammel, that's where I hang out on YouTube. That's the platform that I'm really focused on building from a video perspective. So hopefully you will join me. And I just realized I didn't do what I said last night that I had learned, and I said I was going to have a cup of water with me. So we'll hopefully be able to continue on here. So just like the title says, this is the first 100 days, day 4, and what that's about for anyone that hasn't been lucky enough, and I'm joking, of course, but if you haven't been lucky enough to be in on the first 3 days, I decided that I would go live for 100 days, and we're just going along in parallel for the first 100 days of our new president, Joe Biden. This is not a political live stream. We're going to go 100 days and really not talk about politics. We'll talk about the impact of things potentially with regards to the economy, that type of thing. But as far as politics, we're going to leave that alone. I certainly have my opinions, certainly have my views, but another time, another place to do that. Here on this live stream every night, I want to cover things that will hopefully help you if you're running a business, starting a business, helping another business, whatever it is. I want to be able to provide you with tips and tools and techniques, things that will help you along the way there. I'm also hoping that I will get you guys engaged and that you'll comment here. Let me know what you'd like to talk about, things that you're interested in, where you're watching from, all those kind of things, the thumbs up, the emojis, whatever you want to send my way. Just the more engaged we can be, obviously, the more people will get to see this, and I hope that means more people will get or gain the value that I'm trying to bring. So again, this is day 4 of 100 days, and as I've said in all of the others, I'm kind of opening up with 2 things that I'm really going to harp on or push that I believe will be helpful to anyone out there watching this, regardless of how old you are or what you do for a living, even if you're retired. And those 2 things are, I'll start with the first one, is start a YouTube channel, or if you already have one, set aside some time. If you need to write it down on a calendar, but find some time to be able to devote to that, even if it's 15 minutes. You could use StreamYard, and you'll see the link here for StreamYard, strammel.info/StreamYard. You can get a free account. I'm using a paid account because I'm going live, like I said, on 8 different platforms and able to have overlays and a lot of different things. But you can get a forever free account using this link right here and go live on up to 2 destinations for 20 hours a month. So again, even if you're retired, it's a really fun way to go live and live stream. Not only can you live stream, you can basically use it as a really kind of small version of Zoom. And what I mean by small version, you can have up to 10 people on a video conference call. And that's you and 9 other people for a total of 10. And with that, actually, even with the free account, there's no limit to how long you could have those conference calls, if you will. So as long as you're not streaming, that 20-hour clock is not ticking, and you could literally have a conference call every day for 12 hours a day, and you would never exceed any kind of a limit. So if you are one of the few, and I again say that only halfway joking, but if you're one of the few that has not heard about StreamYard, or maybe you've heard about it and you haven't signed up for it, it costs you nothing to get signed up. It's forever free, if you sign up, but I guess there's a possibility at some point in time, as they grow even more, that maybe the free plan will not be available anymore. I don't know, but I wouldn't want to wait and find out. So sign up, go to strammel.info/StreamYard, get your free account, and have that capability there to use. And so I only mention that because that's one way that you could utilize YouTube. You could go live, as I've mentioned before as well. It's actually I've become more comfortable going live, and I actually prefer that over doing a pre-recorded video, because a pre-recorded video I have to edit. So enough about that. Get a YouTube channel. If you have one already, spend some time on it. The second thing that I'm encouraging people to do, especially with the volatility in some ways, and for some people, the volatility of social media, I'm highly encouraging people to go and get a free account on Convertkit. Now, I don't have the link up here, but that's strammel.info/Convertkit is my link. You can get a free account there, a forever free account as well, and you're able to manage up to 1,000 subscribers. And I've actually been sending out, because of the volatility of social media, been sending out a link for my Convertkit account, if you will, so people can connect with me on a personal level. So this link that I've been giving out is purely, hey, so we can communicate, stay in touch. If for whatever reason we get disconnected through some of the more traditional social media platforms and avenues, we would still be able to be connected. Yes, sure, you can use your Gmail, you can use your Yahoo Mail, AOL. I guess people even still have AOL and Hotmail. Those things still exist, from what I understand. Or your Apple email, or maybe you have a web service and you have an email. Those are all great, and I'm not suggesting you not use those. But with Convertkit and other platforms like it, like MailChimp, certainly MailChimp is an example of that. This is not going to be a discussion about one email platform over the other. I've switched to Convertkit. It's the one I'm going to talk about because it's the one that I use and have really been able to take full advantage of it. So that's what I'm going to refer you to. Again, you can have 1,000 free emails. And the other cool thing about it, and we'll talk about this maybe a little bit more if I run out of things to talk about, I'll mention it some, but you can create landing pages as well for free, unlimited landing pages. So if you want to, market a product, or maybe you want to just use it as a way to get emails from even your friends or, potential clients, that's what I've done with this personal connection that I'm doing. So if you were to go to strammel.com, in this case it's .com, but strammel.com/ connect, yeah, strammel.com/connect, you'll get a little landing page. It basically just says, hey, give me your first name, last name, email address, so that we can stay connected on a personal level with anyone that connects with me. That way I'll never be spamming you with, hey, buy this, hey, buy that, sign up for this, sign up for that. So the cool thing about Convertkit is you can basically segment the emails that you get and decide how you want to interact with those people that have subscribed to that. And so if someone comes in that way, they're never going to get an email that's anything other than just, hey, how's it going, that type of thing. The only way they're going to get an email that might be offering them some type of a product or service or that type of thing is if they've very specifically also signed up through a number of other landing pages that I might have where they've indicated they want that kind of information. I'll briefly mention, I'm not going to go into the details, but I do have a landing page, for example, that offers a free PDF, and that has resulted in well over 2,000. You could call those leads if you want to. That makes it kind of impersonal, but the reality is if you're doing any type of digital marketing, you do have, it's just what it's called when you got to have a name for things, you're generating leads. And so Convertkit is a powerful tool for that. If you listen to my live stream last night, I mentioned a couple of books / ebooks from Donald Miller. Don't know if you've heard of Donald Miller before, but he has business, 2 books that are fairly recent: Business Made Easy and Marketing Made Easy. And if you start listening to or reading the Marketing Made Easy book, they really go through all the things that are kind of related to a quote unquote funnel. They don't use that term, but if you're going to do, again, digital marketing, or if you're going to use the internet to market and to transact on products or services, that type of thing, then you typically need to have an email list. You typically want to have a landing page, a place where to send people when they show an indication that they're interested in what you have. So traffic is really the number one thing. Once you get that traffic, you need to direct it to something. So, in many cases, I'm directing people to one of my landing pages on Convertkit. So enough about Convertkit. We'll move on beyond that. But again, if you've got any, and excuse me for wiping my eye there, I've not been able to go, although I've been now consistent for this being the 4th day, I've not been able to, or it's just not happened that I've been able to start my live before at least 11 o'clock. I think we're starting at about the same time we did last night, and I'm on Central Time in Texas, and it's almost midnight. So if I look a little tired or a little sleepy, I apologize, but it is getting later in the evening, although I am traditionally a night owl. So by the way, I hope that you're enjoying the background music, if you can even hear it. I've tried to not have it too loud. Hopefully it's not too loud and too distracting. I've had it now for 4 nights straight, and the only comments I got was that someone actually commented that they liked it. So hopefully you're enjoying it. It's not intended to be something that that takes your focus away from the discussion, but just adds a little bit of character, hopefully, to the live stream. And that's coming, by the way, from Soundstripe. So a lot of people that get into live streaming or video production for YouTube or even for Facebook, for that matter, want to have quality music that's integrated into that video. And the only way you can do that on YouTube and Facebook is you have to have royalty-free music of some sort. Now, YouTube has a library of music that you can use. I understand that Facebook does as well. I've not used it. There are a couple of other resources that are free. This is the one departure where I've not found what I would consider a professional level service that's 100% free at some lower level. So whether you go with Epidemic Sound, which is another one that I've used, if you go with Soundstripe, if you go with Artlist, there's another one called MusicBed. Those are the 4 that I know of, and there are others, but those are the 4 that tend to be used the most by people that are focused on doing YouTube videos, that type of thing. They all typically have a plan or a trial, 14-day trial in some cases, month-long trial in other cases, depending on the platform. But you do end up having to pay eventually. So again, this is not an advertisement, but since I'm talking about tools and techniques, these are all the things that I use. So I'm using them every day. And so I'll spend a little bit of time on them. So with respect to Soundstripe, for example, the thing I like about Soundstripe, at least compared to Epidemic Sound, which is what I had previously, is with Soundstripe, I just need one license for a particular use, and then I can use that on multiple platforms, and I can use it for professional use or for non-professional use. So in other words, if I was using this to produce a video where I was actually going to charge someone for the production of the video, and I needed to have sound effects in it or music in it, whether that be instrumental or there is actually songs out there where there's lyrics as well, and it's just I'm not going to go into it all because it would sound like a commercial, and that's not my intent. But you get a lot of capability with Soundstripe, a lot of flexibility. So I switched a while back from Epidemic Sound to Soundstripe. And if Epidemic Sound, if you're somehow out there and hearing this, I will say one other thing, and one other reason that I switched is I too small a fish, I guess, for Epidemic Sound, because I had pursued them multiple times for an affiliate link to where when I refer other people that I might get some commission. And I've mentioned, I think at least briefly in every one of these other live streams, something about affiliate marketing. It's certainly a way that you can generate some extra income, somewhat passive, certainly after you start getting traffic coming to your site. And the best way to get traffic coming to your site, in my opinion, is to provide value, to help people, to give them actionable information, things that they can use immediately. I think I will say that's one of the keys. I actually heard, someone that would be considered an expert out there. And if you disagree with this as well, that's perfectly fine. I'll have a different opinion, and you'll see what I'm trying to say. But I was listening to someone basically that's grown very fast on YouTube, and their advice when they actually charged to give this advice to other people was to, in essence, just tickle people, give them just enough that they have to come to you for more. And literally, I think this person said, I'm not even gonna say whether they're he or she, but this person, because I don't want anybody to figure out who it is, because that's not what it's about. But they were basically saying, we don't even want to give them enough information that they can really do much with what we've given them, because we want to sell them our course. We want to sell them this, that, and the other. Now, I'm not at all opposed to and believe that people should be compensated for their knowledge. Someone that spent even the amount of time that I have, there's learning how to live stream, learning a lot of the ins and outs of YouTube, that has some value, and you do want to find people that understand enough what the value of that is, that you can at some point monetize that. But I do really think that Gary Vee has the right approach for many of us that are have a hustle here or a hustle there, and I mean that in the best possible sense. That word can actually have a negative connotation, not the hustle in the sense of tricking someone, but hustling hard, working hard to get to that next level where you want to be, that you provide value, and you then will eventually gain the influence, the impact that you want, and finally the income. So impact, influence, and income, and probably kind of comes in that order for the most part. And you need traffic to be able to do that. You need to gain attention from people. You need engagement, obviously. That all drives your ability to have impact and influence on people, which will then be coming to you because you become, in essence, a trusted advisor for them in the areas that you have knowledge in, the areas that you excel in, and then the money will come. So I'm waiting for some of that money to come. if you will. But I'm blessed with the fact that I think I'm able to grasp a lot of these technologies and then help people understand how to apply them best, regardless of what they're doing, from lawyers to accountants to restaurants to, people selling any kind of service, actual product, whether that's physical or digital, coaches, consultants. Many of the tools are the same regardless of what kind of industry you're in or the type of clientele that you have. And the reality is, and most of you watching this, whether you're watching this live tonight or whether you're watching the replay, and by the way, I appreciate all of you that are watching live and those of you that are watching this later after it has been live. The reality is that our way of making a living for many is in a transition state, has been for a while, and the speed with which that's going to change, I think, will only increase. So my encouragement is always to be a learner, a constant learner, and if you are a visual learner, YouTube obviously is a great resource, and there are other platforms out there where you can learn. What is one of the, well, Thinkific is one platform a lot of people use to sell online training. Teachable is another one, and there's another one that I'm trying to think of. But if you know of any, why don't you add them in the comments? And by all means, guys, put in those comments anything that you want to talk about, understand. We're already 20 minutes in, and I thought I would be done in 15. So we are actually I'm going to probably wrap this up pretty soon. And again, I apologize to those that are potentially watching on Instagram, or if you're watching this replay on Instagram and I'm looking straight at you for just a moment, come on over to YouTube, youtube.com/Shane Trammell. And that's the platform that I'm really trying to push. As much as I love Facebook, let's be honest about Facebook, at least from a video perspective. Although they stay there forever, there's an erosion period, or they have a half-life in a sense, if you will, videos where at some point, because they're so far down in your feed, people are not likely to see those unless it's in the first couple of weeks or so. But whereas YouTube, and that's what I like about being able to stream to multiple platforms, it'll certainly be on Facebook and on Instagram forever unless I delete it. And certainly, yes, a number of people will find that anyway. But the largest, or the second largest search engine in the world, or the second largest digital search engine, probably don't need to make that distinction, but the second largest search engine in the world is YouTube. Probably most of you already knew that. The number one largest is Google, and of course Google owns YouTube, so they have a corner on the market, if you will, with regards to that. And I'm guessing Yahoo and Bing are a distant third and fourth. I don't know who's ahead of who, but reality is, if someone, and you know this because you probably do it, when I had to, for example, when I needed to change out the battery in my key fob for my Ford F-150, go Ford F-150, I think that's the most popular truck of all times as far as sales and that type of thing. But when I needed to change the battery on that, where do you think I went? I went into YouTube and I entered in search criteria, change key fob battery F-150, and got a crazy amount, right, of videos to show up. It's always fun for me when I do a new video, even like these, and after the live is over, go in and enter in some search criteria to see where my video ranks in the search. So it's a fun little experiment. I mentioned this last night, and I won't talk through it at length, but one of my daughters, my youngest daughter, wanted to start a YouTube channel. She told someone a while back, and I wasn't around when she said it, but they asked her what she wanted to do when she grew up. She said she wanted to be a YouTuber. So whether that's what she will actually end up being or not, I have no way of knowing, but I am encouraging that. So we did create her a YouTube channel. She's got 5 subscribers now. I do plan on protecting her privacy, all the way down to how old she is, all of that. So the only thing is that it's my daughter and that she likes a particular game, Wildcraft. That's the theme right now mostly. And so I don't have a link here. I'm going to put a link in, and actually if you want to just make my daughter's day, go subscribe to her YouTube channel. The one thing that the number one goal typically for YouTube is to get to that first 100 subscribers, and one of the main reasons with that, once you get to your first 100 subscribers, you can create a vanity, quote unquote, vanity URL. And so that's, when I started my channel with my name, I have another one that's almost 6,000 subscribers, but the one that's Shane Trammell, youtube.com/Shane Trammell, I was not able to put that Shane Trammell part at the end until I got 100 subscribers. So you have to get 100 subscribers on YouTube, and then you can add that nice little perk. And it really is a nice perk, because until you have that, it's some long string of letters and numbers, and that's why I can't tell you what my daughter's YouTube, I almost said her name. That's why I can't tell you my daughter's YouTube channel, because it's all these weird numbers and letters. So I don't know what the link is, or I can't memorize it. But I could actually show it to you though. So let's see here if I do this. So you should now be able to see. Well, you won't see it yet, but let me go to it and then I'll bring it up. So this is going to be her YouTube channel, and it's called Tidebreaker. So Tidebreaker, this is it. So you can see right up here the title, Tidebreaker. She would have to explain to you why it's called Tidebreaker, but you could actually probably search under Tidebreaker and find it. So, yeah, that's hers. So, I think we're going to wrap this up. Again, if you want to interact or have some influence on what is talked about over the next now 95 days. So after this one, it'll be the next, 96, sorry. So today is day 4. So we've got 96 more days of straight going live. I've never even gone live every day for 4 days. I've done a number of live streams, but I've never live streamed for 4 days in a row. So I'm already ahead of where I've been in the past with regards to, being consistent with this. By the way, I by no means think that you have to live stream for 100 days in a row to be successful at live streaming, or to be successful at gaining an audience, so that you can get that, have that impact, that influence, and at some point income. But the one thing that I know that it does is it certainly builds your confidence. I think it does help your quote unquote resume, your digital resume, to be able to have that behind you. So I'm doing this as much for myself as I am, hopefully, for my community. Of course, again, what I hope I'm doing for my community is providing value. And the best way I can provide value, let me say just real quick, is, please let me know in the comments some of the things that are weighting you down, things that are keeping you from reaching your goals. I'm also a certified life coach. So I only throw that out to say that I'm always learning, always trying to gain skills that not only will help me, but can help others. So I mention that only so you can know that I'm actually going to say there's no topic that is off limits. I mean, if it has anything to do with, you know, running a business, whether that's your own business or running a business for someone else, again, whether that's marketing, operations, finance, IT, information technology, management, nothing's off limits. So let's talk about it. I won't have all the answers, but it's fun to. I'm a researcher. One of the things that drives me is, you know, being presented with a problem and trying to come up with a solution. I'm at times both a big picture guy and a into the weeds guy. It just kind of depends. I'm a one-man show in many ways with all the things that I do on the side. So, you know, by necessity, I'm involved in all aspects of everything that I do. You know, all of the technology that I use. I don't have although it would be great, I don't have a virtual assistant, don't have any staff or anything along those lines. I have a full-time job in supply chain. So been, you know, doing that for over 20 years, understanding how to get products from point A to product A, you know, or a product from point A to point B. So I've been exposed to a lot of different industries, a lot of different aspects of companies. So I think that I have some, you know, some ability to help my community, regardless of what kind of issue it is that you're facing or things that you would like to, you know, address. So, and I also love to experiment. This landing page that I was telling you about, where I've generated over 2,000 email addresses, subscriptions, if you will, or over 2,000 people have subscribed to my email list from that one. It's one video that's an hour long, and the viewer retention on it is quite high. And when you compare it to what YouTube says should be the averages, and the point is I can now use that as a case study to help other people understand what's possible. I put out a whole video on that, and maybe I'll introduce that video a little bit in the next live. I'll add it. I'll come back and add it as a part of the end card on this video, or maybe put a link. But I'll definitely in the next live stream point people to where that is. It may be on my other channel, but I'll make sure and bring it over on this one as well. So I guess I'll just part with this final thought, which is really just repeating again what I've already said. Hopefully it's you know, hopefully you don't get bothered from the repetitive nature of me mentioning some of these things, and I don't presume to be someone telling you what to do. I just know what has worked for me with regards to helping me stay sharp and stay relevant, given, you know, where things are. I'll be the first to say, and then I'll get to my point, but I'll be the first to say that I'm old school in some ways. I prefer and I mentioned this last night, but I prefer a physical book over Kindle or audio. But the reality is you know, those Kindle books and the Audible audio books are handy at times where you can multitask, that type of thing. So, but what I was going to say and encourage you, and really what I just mentioned is a component of that. Just, you know, do your best to not stop learning. Set aside a certain amount of time a day, you know, for the week, for the month, for the year, to invest in your ability to understand and know things that are not only relevant right now, but will be, or have all indications are that they will be relevant in the future. Example, blockchain, for example, or augmented reality or virtual reality, artificial intelligence, machine learning. For many of us, we're like, okay, I'm in my 50s. I'll just say that much. And I know it's easy as you approach 50 maybe and beyond, and for some people maybe it even starts earlier, but it can be easy to shut down and say, hey, I'm on the other side of my career, that type of thing. But for me, at 54, I've got 2 boys that are already on the other side of high school, so they're starting to be impacted even more so than me with regards to the change in the world, from a technology perspective, from an expectation perspective. COVID, the pandemic has forever changed, I think, and I do obviously hope that we return to normalcy with regards to being able to go to the grocery store, the movies, all those kind of things. But your road warriors, I think they will forever have probably more balance than they ever did in the past, because I don't think we will ever return necessarily to the level of travel that I was certainly a part of for about 20 years, traveling a lot. So anyway, I guess the point is things are changing, and if they're not going to impact us, if you have kids, they're definitely going to impact them. So if for no other reason than to be able to guide and direct your kids and at least be a sounding board for them, that's a reason in and of itself. I'm thankful that I can have relevant conversations with my kids regarding technology and a lot of those things, because I stay up on it. Not all of it. I mean, it's fast moving. There are apps on phones and things like that I know nothing about, but I try to stay up on it as much as possible. So I think that's where we're going to leave it. I do appreciate all of you that have joined live. Thank you also, any and everyone, regardless of where you're at, whether you're here in the United States or somewhere else in the world. Thank you if you're watching the replay. Let me know again where you're watching from, and let me know what you would like to talk about. We still have, as I mentioned, now 96 days. So if you will, subscribe to YouTube and turn on notifications. That way you'll know when I go live again. And not only will I be doing these live streams that kind of have this feel to them, I will continue to be doing videos that help people understand how to use certain, different services and technology for very specific things. So, for example, live streaming. I've already got a growing playlist of how to use StreamYard and a hardware device called the A10 Mini from a company called Black Magic Design. So I only mention that to say that I'm not only doing this live stream, I will continue to do product reviews, for example, and some of that might be interesting to some of you if you're doing live streaming, doing videos, because I'll be looking at lights, video cameras, various things, laptops, potentially, that type of thing. And then looking at tools like Convertkit and others. So come over to YouTube, youtube.com/Shane Trammell, subscribe, turn on notifications, watch a bunch of videos if you will, share it with others, and I'm so appreciative of any and every one of you that's already there, or you're on your way, you're going to come. And thank you to everyone on all the other platforms that have no desire to ever go to YouTube, Facebook, folks, Twitter folks, Periscope folks, Twitch even. I got for my first time ever, not to be live on Twitch, but the first time ever while I was actually live, got a comment from someone on my Twitch channel. So that was fun. Anyway, have a great evening. If you're watching this live and you're in the United States, it's still quote unquote evening or early morning. but anywhere else in the world as well. Have a great morning, great afternoon, whatever time it might be. And thank you very much. All right, bye. See you in the next one.